Good morning. Good morning. This is Devin Albertson for the NFL show that I do here on Facebook Live. I also post this to YouTube afterwards so everybody can catch this whichever way that's best for them. Wait for a couple people to get in here, and then I'll start my show. Hope everybody's having a good Tuesday morning. 8:32 in the morning here in Maryville, Central Time Zone. All right, so I'm gonna go straight to it now. I'm going to start with the NFL passing leaders so far through 6 games. Right now, Tom Brady, number one, Carson Palmer, Alex Smith, Aaron Rodgers, and Philip Rivers. Kind of the people you expect there with 4 of the 5 names. Alex Smith, kind of the outlier there. But he's having a great year so far. MVP candidate. You look at him, 11 touchdowns, no picks. Completion percentage off the charts. Right now, Alex Smith's playing out of his mind. So hopefully he keeps it up. Tom Brady's been hit a lot so far this year, so we'll see how long his durability lasts. And then Carson Palmer just playing for a bad Arizona team that has to throw the ball. Same with the Rivers and the Chargers, but also Aaron Rodgers is just Aaron Rodgers, and he's just really good. There's the passing leaders. Rushing leaders here, Kareem Hunt, number one, Leonard Fournette, number two, Todd Gurley, Ezekiel Elliott, and Le'Veon Bell. Cook would still be up in here until he hurt his knee, and he dropped back a little bit. It's funny because Kareem Hunt in his second half rushing yards would be good for a second on this list. He has 400, I believe, 54 yards in the second half rushing the ball this year. Second half of the game would still be only 12 yards behind Leonard Fournette for the most in the league. Added in his first half, and he blows everybody out of the water. So right now he is on a different level, 143 yards above everybody else in the race for the rushing title. So right now, Kareem Hunt doing very well on his quest for Rookie of the Year here in the NFL. Receiving yards, Antonio Brown still first. A.J. Green's been lighting it up lately. T.Y. Hilton has been a good receiver for Jacoby Brissett. Keenan Allen for Philip Rivers, and then Stephon Diggs for whoever starts at quarterback for Minnesota. So that's what we got for those guys. Up next, we have tackle leaders, Tyvon Branch. Always kind of weird to see because they're in tackle leaders, sack leaders, Demarcus Lawrence, Melvin Ingram's had a good year, Calais Campbell, Griffin, and then Everson Griffin, sorry. Then Justin Houston for the Chiefs. So I just want to run through those real quick. New one this week, interceptions. After 6 games, 5 games or so, this should be good enough to see who's actually leading. Micah Hyde for the Bills, number one. Gibson for Jacksonville. Hooker for the Colts. And then a bunch of guys at 2. So these are the leaders according to NFL.com. That's where I got my stats for these guys. So give me 1 second here to get all my notes kind of going here, and then we can get my top 5, bottom 5 here in the NFL. Top 5, bottom 5. So we're going to get to that. Here's my top 5 teams in the NFL. The Chiefs wins over the Patriots, Eagles, Redskins, and at the Texans. So 2 tough road wins plus a road win at the Chargers. So I like what the Chiefs are doing this year. I fully expected them to lose to Houston last week, and they came away with the big win. So this team just feels different than years past. I'm not sure what it is. Right now, Kareem Hunt's still the best running back in the league. Defense is still good without Barry. Bob Sutton pulled his head out of his butt and actually runs the right plays on defense. Defense is fine. We keep Philip Gaines on the bench. It's okay. Still worried a little bit about the run defense, a little bit inconsistent. The offensive line has a lot of injuries right now, so hopefully they get healthy. Did lose Chris Conley for the year with that Achilles tear, which was absolutely disgusting on national TV. Absolutely disgusting to watch that, watch it ripple through his calf. Hope he has a quick recovery. Right now, Travis Kelce, concussion protocol, so we'll see if he'll be back for next week. But the Chiefs, only undefeated team, they're at 5-0. Definitely well deserving. Number 2, the Philadelphia Eagles, 2-0 in division. They only lost is at Kansas City. Carson Wentz looks really good. They look really good versus Arizona on Sunday. I know it's hard to tell, but it's Arizona. But they played well. Up next, the Atlanta Falcons at 3. I'm keeping them in the top 5. I think they're still a really good team. I know they were lucky to leave Detroit with a win. But But they do have wins over the Packers, Bears, and Lions. They lost at home to the Bills, so they did well against that NFC North. Lost to Buffalo, which is just kind of a weird fluky loss in my opinion. They just came off a bye. So we'll see how they do coming up this week. Denver Broncos, same as the Falcons, came off a bye. Weird loss against the Buffalo. This one was on the road. They just beat Oakland 16-10 before their bye. So their defense is still legit. Offense is capable. We'll see what they do coming off a bye as well. They're a top 5 team at this point. And the Green Bay Packers, they're moving back in the top 5 for that win at Dallas. Aaron Rodgers is all you're going to know here. Only loss was at Atlanta. Still have wins versus Seattle, Cincy, Chicago, and at Dallas. Cincy looks really good now. They started turning the corner a little bit during that Green Bay game. Almost pulled off the upset. Green Bay was able to hold him off. They took care of the Bears easily. Then they beat Dallas on the road. So I love what the Packers are doing right now. It's Aaron Rodgers and everybody else. But in the NFL, if you're the best quarterback, you will be really good. Honorable mentions, team I just considered. The only team AFC I really considered was the New England Patriots. Other than that might have really sold the Patriots at this point. Other than that, the 3-2 teams are the Steelers, who have not looked good, to say the least. I mean, their 2 losses are to the Bears and the Jaguars. Really? Including the Jaguars at home by 21 points. I know there was some call for me last week to put them in my top 5. Well, you lost at home to Jacksonville this week, so I don't want to hear anything about them being my top 5 this week because they don't deserve it, or being an honorable mention for it either. So that's where I'm at right now. Carolina, they're 4-1. They've got heavy consideration. The Rams, they were 1 play away from beating Seattle. Seattle's also in the honorable mentions here. I like the Rams a lot still, as well as Seattle. The Redskins came off a bye as well. They're 2-2. They're still a solid team. The Lions, Vikings, and Cowboys. So we'll see. I like the Lions still. Tough loss at Carolina. The Vikings got a win last night on Monday Night Football, an ugly one versus the Bears, but a win it is. And of course the Dallas Cowboys, who I think are still a decent team, but we'll see if they make the playoffs or not. Bottom 5 teams in the NFL. We'll go to that real quick. There it is. Bottom 5, the worst team in the NFL. Actually, they're 0-5. Sorry, the graphic is wrong. The 0-5 Cleveland Browns. Sorry, Cleveland. I missed one of your losses there. My bad. Yeah, they're bad. That's all I got for the Browns. They're just awful. Wow, they're bad. They lost to the Colts without luck. They lost to Cincinnati by 31 points. They lost to the Jets. Wow. The Browns are just bad. 49ers, they're 0-5. They lost to the Colts without luck. Yeah, you're also going to be the bottom 2 teams in the league, too. Also lost to Arizona. I mean, they're not a good team right now. They're just trying to tank, get a quarterback there in San Francisco. Number 3, the Giants. They just lost their 3rd receiver this year, including OBJ and Brandon Marshall. So they've lost 3 receivers already this year. Eli Manning looks old. The Giants are just flat out bad. That's all I got for you. The Giants are bad right now. 0-5. Definitely deserve to be in my bottom 5. I was reluctant to put them there at first because I liked what they did on defense a little bit, but they're just so bad they had to go down there in the bottom 5. The Colts at 2-3. Their 2 wins against the Browns and the Niners, who have the 2 worst teams in the league. So their 2 wins are not impressive. They need luck to get healthy to be any good. I still question if they should play them or not. So the Colts right now are just a bad team with a bad roster. And the Bears at 1-4. Trubisky had a few turnover issues last night at quarterback, but other than that, he kind of looked decent, I heard. So I didn't get to watch most of the game. It's still just a bad team either way. So the Bears are not a good team. Lacks some outside threats. All they have is their 2 running backs and no one really outside to throw to. Honorable mentions, the Chargers, the Dolphins, and the Cardinals of Arizona. So those guys, other teams are pretty bad. There's more good teams right now in the league than bad teams, though, so we'll leave it right there. And some of these bad teams can still step up and play with some of the best teams in the league. So the NFL is weird. The gap between 1 and 32 is not as high as some people think it is. So, all right. So now I'll go to my picks from last week. Not great last week. I'll be honest with you. They weren't stellar. They were not good here. There's my Twitter at Devin Albertson. They were not good. I was 1-4 against the spread, 2-3 straight up. I took New England minus 5.5 over Tampa. Well, they won the game, but they won 19-14. So I got the straight up, but I did not get the cover. I took Detroit minus 3 over Carolina. They lost by 3. It's a tough beat. I had the Rams minus 2.5 over Seattle. I wouldn't have had the over, but I would have had the win if Cooper Kupp catches a touchdown in the end zone. He drops the pass, and the Seahawks win by 6. Another tough beat there on the pick'em at least. Green Bay +4 over Dallas. I got that one completely right. They won by 4 thanks to Aaron Rodgers with that touchdown late. And then I had Houston +1 versus Kansas City, and the Chiefs won by 8. So the Chiefs are now moving on to 5-0 on the air, and I picked against them, and I feel stupid. But you know what? It's all right. It's fine. So we'll go to my picks for this week. The first game of the week, I have the Eagles at the Carolina Panthers. Both teams coming off big wins. The Panthers are 3.5-point home favorites for Thursday Night Football. Short week advantage usually goes to the home team, but I believe the Eagles are better on both lines, offense and defensive lines. So I like what Carson Wentz is doing. I think he's right now playing better than what Cam Newton is. I like Cam a lot, actually. I think he's still a decent quarterback, but a little bit inconsistent still. I like the Eagles in this one on the road to go there into Carolina and get the win. So Eagles +3.5 is my pick for this one over the Carolina Panthers. Game 2. Right now, this is a pick'em game, so I'm not sure they know who's going to start at quarterback for Minnesota. It's been that way for the past 4 or 5 weeks, which is why I'm picking the Packers. Right now, it says even because they really don't know. But I think the Packers, whatever the line is right now, as long as it's not more than 3 points on the road. Rodgers is a tiebreaker. I'll take the Packers straight up in this one over Minnesota. QB play is just a difference here. The Vikings are way too inconsistent for me to bet on them between Bradford's injury and Case Keenum being Case Keenum, and the other side has Aaron Rodgers. So it's really hard for me to vote for Minnesota, even though I think they have the better roster. I think they by far have the better roster than Green Bay. It's just that quarterback position really scares me for Minnesota. So we'll see. I think with that quarterback, he should be decent though with the receivers they have out there with Thielen and Diggs. They still should be good. Then you get that running game a little bit shirted up with Dalvin Cook out for the year though. So Minnesota, they also have a good defense. So we'll see what Aaron Rodgers does versus them in Minneapolis. So I have Green Bay in that one, pretty much straight up. Not sure what the line is right now, but I'll take the Green Bay Packers to win that game. Game 2, the Detroit Lions at the New Orleans Saints. Saints are 4.5-point favorite. Line didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I think the Lions play real defense now, and the Saints, of course, do not. I do worry about the Saints and Sean Payton come off a bye. Usually good coaches off a bye is something to bet on, but I'm going to take the Lions +4.5 here. That way, even if they do lose, it's still only by 3. I think they win straight up, though, so I like the Lions to get back on track with that tough loss to Carolina to come back and win this game versus the Saints. The dome factor should not be much of a factor for the Saints in this one because the Lions are also built for a dome, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal for the Lions to play down there. So I like the Lions in that one, +4.5. Also, Matthew Stafford, not playing great, but playing good enough, not turning the ball over, so he's still playing pretty good this year. Biggest game of the weekend, probably the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs can extend their lead in the conference over the Steelers with a win here. But as a Chiefs fan, this game scares the living crap out of me. It just does. The Steelers were dominated last week by the Jaguars 30-9. Big Ben looked awful, throwing 5 picks, including 2 that went for touchdowns. But last year the Steelers did the same thing. They went to Philly and lost 34-3, and then played KC the next week at home and rolled them 43-14. We saw it coming from a mile away. I don't want to see that this year, but this Steelers team feels different. I don't know. Big Ben keeps talking about retirement. Antonio Brown is disgruntled. Le'Veon Bell is having an okay year, but he's not being great early on. And the Chiefs are not only 5-0, they're 5-0 against the spread, which means they're beating Vegas right now. Pittsburgh is 2-3 as the spread this year because they're so inconsistent. I mean, you have a home loss, that's Jacksonville, and a road loss to the Bears, who's not very good. The Steelers team, I don't know. I just can't put my finger on them. I don't think they're elite this year. I think they might have missed their window. I think this is Big Ben's last year also in Pittsburgh. I think he's talking about retirement too much not to retire at the end of this year. The Chiefs, with injuries though, need to get healthy. As I said earlier, Chris Conley done for the year. Travis Kelce, concussion protocol. They still have Steven Nelson, a corner, still out. So I have to keep playing Phillip Gaines. Also, 3 starters on the O-line are all hurt. Morris the center, Tardif the guard, and then Parker, Ehringer, the other guard, are all hurt right now. So the middle of your line's all hurt. They did play well in protecting Alex Smith versus Houston. I was impressed by that. It also helped that Houston's top 2 D linemen went out with Watt and Merciless both done for the year. Dee Ford's also out right now for the Chiefs. All this being said, this game I went back and forth on. Chiefs are a 4-point home favorite. I think I'm going to take the points with KC. I think they're able to beat Pittsburgh. Finally get that monkey off that back, beat them in the regular season, beat Pittsburgh off a big loss. So give me the Chiefs to win this game over the Pittsburgh Steelers and kind of assert themselves a little more in the conference. Get 6-0, put the Steelers down to 3-3, and get a 3-game lead over the Pittsburgh Steelers in the race for home field in the AFC. So that's what I got for that one. And then finally, the LA Rams at the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars are a 2.5-point home favorite, so I'm taking the Rams. The Rams were a drop pass away from beating the Seahawks last Sunday. The Jaguars' defense is for real this year, but they still got Blake Bortles at quarterback. And right now, Jared Goff, Blake Bortles, not even a discussion. Also, not much of a home field advantage in Jacksonville. So I'll take the Rams plus 2.5 in this one. I know they're going west to east, but I like the Rams to come away with a win here. They're also playing the later time slot, which is good for the West Coast team. So I think the Rams plus 2.5 is the play here. So I know it was a rough week last week, but I'm taking the Eagles plus 3.5, the Packers straight up over the Vikings, the Lions plus 4.5, the Chiefs minus 4, and the Rams plus 2.5. So that's what I got for you guys this week for all my picks and stuff like that. Rough week last week, but I'm doing this thing that's really weird where every other week I'm doing good in my pick'ems. So we'll see. Also follow me on Twitter at Devin Albertson. Put this on my YouTube channel as well. If you go check it out there, I'll put that on Twitter. Do you have any questions going into this game, going into this week, or what happened last week in the NFL? Because if not, I'm just going to get off here and stop talking for a little bit. But if so, I can answer any of your guys' questions. So I don't think there's any questions. So thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoy the show. It's Tuesday. Hope I get your feedback later. Tomorrow in Division II football, I have a good show planned for that. Make sure you guys hit me up with some details, questions you want me to answer. I'll put that on YouTube as well. You got a good viewing last week on my D2 show, so hopefully that happens again this week. And then I'll have Missouri 8-man football on Thursday and a lot of good stuff happening on this Friday for the last regular season game of the year for Missouri 8-man football. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Everybody, you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning on Facebook Live.